I think this is pretty uncommon. This is my oil painting sketchbook. I actually put out a video before flipping through the first half. The other video has like a lot of the paintings that I filmed, so you could see the quick process if you're into that. I will link it, of course. This is a hand-bound sketchbook. I don't know a lot of people who use sketchbooks for oil paint specifically. This is an oil painting sketchbook. This was sent to me by a viewer. It's really thick, like 300 GSM paper. It holds oil wonderfully. This is the date that I kind of got it and signed it, March 26, 2021. So we'll just flip through this really quick, these first few paintings. Let's zoom in here actually. Yoda, self-portrait. The great thing about this sketchbook is it's a lot of practice, you know, like sketchbooks are usually for doodles, or that's what people use them as, but this is a little more than, you know, just doodles. These are like portrait sketches or mini paintings between 2 and 3 hours. This is a master copy, Charles Dickens, you know, just really sort of quick portraits. And I wanted to fill this, took me way longer than I thought. Lots of self-portraits in here. Actually, that's a study for a commission I did of a beautiful lab. Some color swatches. This is all flipping through the first half that you could go watch the other video. Some fantasy, sci-fi stuff. This is a dope double page, I'm gonna be honest. This is another master copy, Sargent. This was for another video. This was a practice color study for an awesome painting I did. And this was, I think, the last one in the half. So, you know, we are kind of half left, and that was in 2022, crazy. So this is another master copy, Joaquin Sorolla. I thought it was beautiful. I did a full video on this. This was the smaller painting, and then I did a bigger master copy. The lighting, the texture in this painting, I thought was just delicious, so I wanted to paint it myself. I actually might think that this smaller study came out better than the bigger portrait, but sometimes that's happened. Maybe it's just the scale. The looseness of these sketches in general helps sort of this style, but kind of a banger to start out. I mean, again, not the best portrait. These are 2-hour painting sketches, but we love oil. Absolutely love oil. And these pages are thick now. I gesso them twice. People are always wondering. I gesso this paper twice or 3 times, paint right over it, and Bob's your uncle. This is another master copy. This is Rembrandt, right? Obviously, yep. This was from the Met. This was from a video I did at the Met. Didn't really capture much of the texture that Rembrandt really gets. Again, this was just sort of for fun because it was a dark background, and I like to sketch at the Met and paint. Portrait of my girlfriend. This was another color study sort of practice for the bigger painting. I did sort of like this portrait tutorial. I did a few big portraits of my girlfriend. This was just like a photo from that collection we did. You could check that out actually on my website if you want to learn to paint realistically. There's sort of like a premium video on my website that goes through every step. But this is, I really like this portrait. I mean, the eyes are a little wonky. Her face structure doesn't look exactly like my girlfriend, but it's nice. Like the lighting's really nice. These really hairline rim lights. I love that. I'm like addicted to sort of this sort of side rim light, and you'll see that a lot. But I love this as a page. Not the best likeness of my girlfriend, but still fun. This is Jess Carp. This was a collab we did. We had an awesome photo shoot where I took pictures of her, she took pictures of me, but I wanted to do just a quick portrait of Jess because we had this really intense red light. I really like these portraits because like all these really small brush strokes, I don't do that often because when I'm painting larger, you know, some of those strokes get lost, but it's really fun to see these little tiles everywhere. And you can see here, I really am using this color zone. So this is like a really yellow forehead, really more reddish, rosy cheeks, nose and cheek, this zone, and then cooler, you know, temperature cooler down here for the neck. So that's like a very standard color zone situation that I like to follow. Not for everything, but it sometimes gives that, you know, lifelike attitude almost, because that's following sort of the blood. But it's different for everyone, and obviously different lighting techniques. It's different. But this is a nice little portrait, full page. I didn't date or sign this. I usually like to because it's archival. So this is going into the live painting, you know, throughout these years. This is now in 2024. This could have even been in 2023. Yeah, if this is February, I probably took a big break from these for whatever reason during the holidays and other projects. But you know, I started Studio Slew, which is my art organization, and I host drawing and painting sessions here at my studio. And I started doing longer pose painting sessions sort of, you know, a few months after I just started the figure drawing. And so this is a live portrait of a model, Nancy, and it is not the best. This, I remember specifically, was the first long pose, so I was really running around making sure that everyone was set up. You know, I'm sort of the leader and logistically running these sessions, so my job isn't necessarily to paint, it's to make sure that everyone's comfortable, that everyone has a spot, that, you know, the models are comfortable and set up. So I was also running around with a camera because this was a big video that I was shooting and wanted footage for, so I think I started like halfway through. Yeah, 6 20-minute poses, more like 4.5. So I had about an hour and a half to paint this. It is not the best likeness, but I really like the profile. You know, I rarely shoot or paint like straight on like that, so it was fun. It was very rushed, but good memory. Nonetheless, I'm glad I even got to paint in that session to begin with. We still got quite a bit of portraits left, but before we move on, we got to talk about the sponsor, Squarespace. I think every small business owner, every artist needs a professional website. I love Squarespace because it enables my organization to have ticketed events and everything I need within e-commerce. Their tools are really powerful, but the layout and user interface is extremely simple and streamlined. I have nothing but good things to say about Squarespace, and if I ever ran into an issue, I know I would be okay because they have 24-hour customer service. They have award-winning templates for every sort of website and design, whether it's just portfolios or you're trying to sell products. Squarespace makes it so easy to build your own website with their drag and drop grid method. Again, super professional, but super easy to customize and use. Go to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to build a website and buy a domain, go to squarespace.com/slew for 10% off. Let's continue flipping. Boom, another live painting. So this is sort of different from the first half. This is probably one of the biggest bangers. This is Aiden Barker Hill from our big video. I did like a mini doc on him. I've been doing these sort of artist profiles. I did one on my friend Zach. I did one on Jeff Watts recently. This was Aiden. I got so much footage of him. He's a teacher at the New York Academy of Art. He's just one of the best painters I've ever met. Anyways, he came to the studio. We did like a little sitting swap. So I sat for 2 hours for him, he painted me, and then he sat for me and I painted him for 2 hours. And I was really happy with this portrait. You know, I was watching him paint before we had the TV set up. Definitely go check out this video, but we had the TV set up so I could watch him live paint while I was modeling, and just watching him like really juiced me, got me focused, and you know, I think I just nailed it for me. You know, live painting is really challenging. It's a lot different than just using photo reference. And I was just really happy with the colors. The likeness is decent. Again, we're only talking about 2 hours here, so use that to meter what you think about these portraits. But I was really happy. Again, the rim light, we did that on purpose. Gorgeous. Ear is nothing to talk about. Let's not even look there, but I was happy with it, and this is a great memory for me. This is another portrait from life. We're going back to back portraits from life. This is from my drawing session at Studio Slew. This model is named Irina. She's great, and I really like this portrait besides the color. So you can see here I used the Zorn palette, really simple palette, especially for a quick in-person live class. I don't want to have a million colors and just spend all my time mixing. But one of my issues, because I'm going too fast, is I get too chalky. Now I will say Irina has very pale skin, extremely pale skin, so I tried going the pale, but it's just a little too chalky. Also, it's not perfect in a lot of ways, but my favorite part is this. Like, I think from the bottom of the mouth, the top of the eyes, especially with this profile, I really like this, like especially the nose. And it's really not mega successful, but you know, each painting you could pull out a few things that you think you did well. For this area, I was really happy, and it looks like her. Another live portrait from the homie. This is the homie, the awesome model Ashari. Same situation, 6 20-minute poses at my studio for a long pose painting. Again, I think I did a good job for this live painting. I think it's quite messy and it lost a little of his likeness. However, my value control, especially with his darker skin complexion and sort of the shapes around here, I was really happy with. A little wonkiness, but you know, his hair shape was really cool, and I just really like this portrait a lot. There's a lot of things that are going that I enjoy about it, and I guess we could also see, did I film this? I'm not sure how many of these live ones I filmed because I don't film every session, but I think most of them. This is another massive banger. I spent a little longer on this than the other ones. This is probably around three hours. A color study for the bigger portrait I did of myself, the High King Elf, which was a super epic project. You should check it out also. There's a full video with a bigger painting and photo shoot, but this was a color study and I was just so into it. It just happens sometimes if I have a little free time, which I seldomly do, to sort of just take my time, and I really did, and I was really happy. And this is just full page, full cover, really sexy. And yeah, this intense rim light again. My mouth is a little wonked out here. Eyes, not perfect, but a great composition, cool props, and I was very into this. And then just this electric blue, like that just came out really nice. And in the bigger painting, it looks terrific, I think. Moving on, this is probably one of the weaker live portraits I did. Again, a lot of these situations in my drawing sessions, I am not a participant. I'm like the leader. I have to run the class. I have to do all these things, move things around. And so I don't think I had much time. I'm not using that as an excuse, but this is just a weak portrait. This is Nola, amazing model. And yeah, it looks like her, I will say, but just the values, it's just sloppy and it's just mush, and there's not great shapes. And oh, and actually okay, so this will give context to the next portrait. I was trying a new palette actually also, which probably, confused me, whacked me out. I was using just the 3 colors, titanium white, ivory black, and transparent red oxide. So I've seen a lot of artists use those 3 and get really great results. This was the transparent oxide, and then I want to try it again on this Harry Potter portrait, a young Daniel Radcliffe. And this one, instead of transparent red oxide, I used burnt sienna, I believe. Yeah, burnt sienna, and you could tell that the burnt sienna with white is very desaturated. And so Harry looks like just like kind of gray here. You know, you could get the red in the tie. It's amazing. I think this is actually a really good portrait, especially here, like just the simplicity of his vest and his collar and his shirt. But there's only 3 colors here, black, white, and burnt sienna. But you can see how much more saturated this transparent red oxide is. You know, there's just a little more red to it. It has more tinting power, the transparent red oxide with titanium white versus the burnt sienna. But still, really love this young Daniel Radcliffe. Yeah, that was a fun one. And then we got your boy, again, self-portrait. Had to do it. It's really fun to just paint myself every once in a while. You know, I wouldn't say this is my best self-portrait by far. I really like it, especially with this nose area, sharp, angled light. I went a little too green here, but I like the hat. I changed the colors around. A lot of the times I'll like to use photo reference and put it to black and white when it's not from life. A lot of the time, you know, I like to kind of invent my own colors. It's pretty normal with like, you know, skin complexions like mine, pinks and reds, but you could throw some greens in there. I probably could have gotten a little more variety, but this is great. And it's me, and it's just fun to look back at really quick sketches of yourself, of course. And that's it. We actually have one blank page here that I thought I'd just leave because sometimes that's smart. Maybe I want to do something in like 10 years and it will be emotional. This is one of my buddy's drawings. And then the last page is empty. So that is it for the oil painting sketchbook. It's kind of sad and happy that I finished because I really wanted to finish it, and especially during these live especially during these live painting sessions that I host, I sometimes want to be a little bigger. These aren't that big, you know, like it's quite small, and sometimes I just want to work a few inches bigger. But it was a great excuse to paint a lot of the times, especially in these beginning days. And I think it's just awesome that it's in this book and you could just like sort of hold it. You know, you're like, oh, there's like, you know, 30 portraits in here, and it's oil paint, and oil paint's epic, and everyone should try it. And yeah, check out the earlier video if you want the processes of all these first ones, and that's really it. Just kind of a end of an era, perhaps. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. Do you paint in oil? Have you ever used a sketchbook to paint in oil? Let me know. See you in the next video.